You look like one of the Duck Dynasty guys.
Yeah, I wish I had their money.
Their last name is Robertson. Believe me, I wish I was somehow related to them. I wouldn't be slinging merch. Welcome to the climb, Ashley.
Can you change your name on me?
Are you saying you want my full name? It's kind of like Cher, Madonna. If they don't know who Ashley is, then it's their loss.
Allow me to reintroduce myself.
I don't think Brandon has experienced thug life, Ashley.
Wait, there's a thug life, Ashley? I think this is a perfect time to start the podcast, Thomas. I want to start off, first of all, by saying sorry for the background. I have moved to DC, so if you watched the last episode, it was the last one that was filmed in Austin, Texas, and I am now in Washington, DC, our nation's capital, and I will be getting the room set up. I am Brandon Pecharich with Market Media. And Thomas, who are you? And then why don't you go ahead and introduce a special guest?
What's up, buddy? Glad you made it to Washington, D.C. Looking good. Glad you guys are getting settled in. I am Thomas Robertson. I am with Specialty Incentives out of Denver, Colorado. I am the president of RMR. And our special guest today is none other than a past president, past board member, and StormTech multi-line rep of the year a couple years ago, Ashley Simpson. Please welcome her to our show.
Thank you for that introduction. My, oh my, I am honored to be the first guest on the climb. I feel like I'm on, with the Kelsey brothers. I feel like I'm on new heights. I've been fangirling from a distance with my likes and my comments, and I'm so proud of these two guys for taking this where it's going and for creating this podcast. I think it's such a good platform. And I'm just honored to be here and talk about some fun stuff today.
Well, you have set the bar very high. We did talk about at the beginning. I'm pretty sure I am Jason Kelsey, so that would make Thomas Travis Kelsey. So congratulations, Thomas. You're dating one of the most powerful women in the world. There you go. Which actually you're married to probably a pretty powerful woman. So there's that.
That is true.
There's so many parallels. It's an analogy that works.
That's awesome. Well, yes, as Ashley said, this is The Climb. This is episode 8. And as we always do, we always start off with a little bit about what's going on in the Rocky Mountain region. And we do have our holiday party coming up very soon. That is December 4th at Chopper's Bar and Grill. Come and hang out with us. Come and have a lot of fun. We're going to be giving away some prizes. We're going to be having a lot of drinks and having a lot of great conversations. So make sure to come out and do that. Thomas, what are we going to be doing beforehand?
So before our holiday party on December 4th, our board gets together and we have our strategic planning meeting for the upcoming year. So this year we'll be meeting for the 2025 year, and our board will be talking about events and ideas and things that we're going to do. With that being said, like we've talked about before, we want people's opinions of stuff that you guys would love for RMR to do, RMR to be part of, RMR to take part in. And I mean, without you guys, we can't continue to grow as a an association. I mean, so anybody who has ideas, please let us know. I mean, our strategic planning meeting, we definitely take very serious. We want to, do where we make RMR better than we did, the previous year. So, we'd love to have that. And having Ashley on today, I mean, obviously being a, previous board member and a past president, that's something I think, she can give us some great insight of some things that, she's seen now that she's not on the board, that she's seen that we can do and take forward. So that's something we're going to do before.
It's interesting that you say that, Thomas, because I remember my first strategic planning meeting when I was fresh on the board and had no idea what I was doing, what I was there for, what was going to happen. And I just remember going, oh my gosh, have I just stepped into something that I have no idea? And I feel like even as a new board member, the existing members valued kind of a fresh perspective, even though I might not have known all the nuances at that point. Like, I definitely have learned a lot over the course of my tenure on the executive board, and kind of, with regard to planning and working with a team, and especially with the regional and the focus of that within the PPAI organization, it's interesting how much you learn just by proxy, by being there and learning from past presidents, past executive board members, and working with people from all walks of this industry, because I think this industry is more layered than most. I think everyone would say there's, the distributor side, as you know, the rep side, the suppliers, factory reps, multi-line reps. And so there's a lot of layers and a lot of different personalities that fill those roles in our industry. So it's always a great time to take a look at what's been done the current year and plan for the next year.
I think that's fantastic. And you mentioned past presidents. I actually want to take this time to do a little bit of a call out. I am currently on the executive board, and Thomas will be moving into that past president role next year for 2025 as well. And I want to make a shout out and a call out to all of the past presidents. You guys are welcome and invited to the holiday party and even to the strategic planning meeting if you would like to come. It's one of those things where we really do need to lean on the past presidents, and because we're not going to reinvent the wheel every year. That's just going to burn calories on a volunteer board that is already strapped for time. So be on the lookout, whether it's through social media or through email. I will be reaching out to you if you were a past president of RMR to get your knowledge, get your insights on what we are doing and how we are moving forward for RMR. And as always, any of the links for all of our events are down below, and you can go to rmrppa.org to see all of that and join our fantastic community. We always like to try and do a little something fun. If this isn't all just what's going on with RMR. And so I think the topic this time, especially with the strategic planning meeting coming right up, I think there's a lot of people that don't really understand the difference between a strategic goal and a tactical metric. So I kind of want to dive a little bit into that. So actually in past strategic planning meetings, like, did you make sure to kind of help the board guide them to what was strategic versus a tactical goal?
Absolutely. I think that well, first, let's just, for anybody who's not familiar with this kind of terminology, strategic is going to be your overall kind of big picture plan. So when we're talking about the regionals, it's what you want to achieve as a regional association, maybe for the entire year, or maybe you're looking at 5 years out if you've really got it together. But the strategic plan is going to be your big picture. Then tactical planning is going to be the steps that you need to take to get there, to achieve your goal. And I think, as I was mentioning, the many layers of our industry, it's easy sometimes even within a regional, because you need to make money, right, to keep things going, just like any business. And so I think it's really easy to fall into the trap of just looking at the bottom line and just looking at the finances, because it's not going to continue to work if the funding isn't there, right? But I think that in my experience, and the current board is doing a really good job of not just looking at the bottom line and having that be the ultimate goal, but also talking about community and building relationships. I wouldn't be on this podcast right now if it wasn't for RMRPPA. So I have made my best friends in the industry through this organization. I myself went to LDW when it was still called LDW and not currently LDC, learned so much more about our industry, even after having been in it for, at that point, I think maybe 7 years. There's always more to learn. And anyway, I digress. Back to strategic and tactical. So tactical planning is going to be the steps that you take to reach your goal, whether it's building a community, making sure that you're profitable for the year, making sure that you can put on good events in the following year, making sure that you retain members and gain new members, all of those things that kind of contribute to your big picture strategic plan.
That's perfect, Ashley. I mean, the way you broke it down, I mean, that's exactly how it is. And I mean, when we do our strategic planning, the wonderful thing about having our board, it's, we have a wide range of distributors, multi-line reps, Brandon, who's in the marketing area, where we all see different views of this industry, especially like, factory reps and multi-line reps who cover other states. And so they see other associations, even our distributors who see, different things with end user shows or end user events or other events that they might go to. It's always good to get all those different inputs, like you said, and put those together to see what can build, for us, what we can build RMR to make the next year, even better. And like you said, and grow the community. That's a big thing. And that's what we want to do with RMR, is grow the community every year.
Just to really kind of tie in the two things. Yes, it's really important to talk about the meeting and the strategizing and everybody who kind of, has some input to make the regional better. But I just want to say, tying back to the party shout out that you made, it's a work hard, play hard day. And that's the kind of group and community that we have. So if anyone listening to this is teetering on like, oh, that's such a busy time of year, I don't know if I can make the RMR party, please reconsider, because it's a work hard, play hard kind of day. And it's probably my favorite event of the entire year.
Well, yeah. And because you get to, once you come to the party, it's not just, oh, hey, it's almost holiday time. Did you have a great year? It's no, you're going to talk to the board members who are now super energized, right? They just beat themselves up for a couple of hours trying to figure out what they are going to do, what their mission is for 2025 and beyond. And they've got these awesome, lofty, strategic goals as to what they want to do for RMR. And then they're excited to hear your feedback on how they can tactically get those things done, right? The board can only do so much. We can, as in the executive board and the volunteer chairs and all that, they can only do so much. They need the input of the full community itself, of everybody who is living in RMR, so that we are actually making sure that we are doing something for the membership, right? Because at the end of the day, right, the members are the ones that pay for this thing to continue to go on and give us that bottom line to be able to put these events on. But we want to make sure that it's not just come and hang out. Like, you're going to get some education, or you're going to have a way to train new hires, or maybe somebody who's stuck in a rut can go out and do some field testing, right? So those types of things that you're looking for in your business, if you're in the Rocky Mountain region, let RMR know, because that's what this board is designed to do. So we have these ideas, these super lofty strategic ideas of what we want to do, and then we have to find the tactical stuff, and that's where we really need the help.
One thing that I didn't know when I attended my first strategic meeting with RMR is that there are committees that work really hard throughout the year on each and every board. And I didn't know that. I didn't know, I had attended an event or two. I didn't know how those came to fruition. Those are people volunteering their time on the board, on those committees, that create those events, that make being a member of RMR memorable, valuable, and important to our industry.
Absolutely. I mean, and one thing that's really cool about our committees is, like you said, it's obviously with our board members, but that's where people can really take, what they're really good at. And maybe if it's like, Brandon's amazing at marketing. So he's head up our marketing, committee this year. We've had a few people on our board this year who've head up the events, and that's where people can really shine in what they do, even though that they give knowledge to the rest of the board, throughout the whole year. Being able to take, what they're good at and, put it towards a committee. And like you said, it takes a lot of work. And I'm like you, actually, I didn't realize how much work it goes into to, one, be on the board, but also be part of the committee. And with that being said, we've always told people, in the past too, you can always join a committee and volunteer for it, even if you do not want to be on the board. We totally understand that certain people, like, maybe, don't want to be on the board, but you can always join one of our committees to help us with expo or events or membership or anything else that we have. So those of you who are listening, if you don't want to be on the board and you're part of RMR, we would love to have you come volunteer and be part of the committee. And like you said, give us those tactical ideas to take forth what we strategized at our meeting and make that event, make that idea, prosper.
I think that's why it's so important to have members and especially board members from all layers of our industry, whether it's a factory supplier, whether it's a multi-line rep, whether it's a distributor. It's really important to get the perspectives of all of those so that when we plan, I say we, when RMR plans an event or something, they make sure that there's something for every piece of our industry. Everybody in all of those roles is getting something out of their membership.
Well, and you can say we because you are still a member of RMR, so you are absolutely a we. But I think you're spot on when you say that it takes multiple, many different viewpoints, because RMR and other regionals across the nation aren't the only boards doing strategic and tactical planning, right? You do it whether you realize it or not in your everyday life, and every single business has a massive, lofty strategic goal on what they want to do for the year. Well, now what are they going to do in January, February, March, April, right? You can break it down even further. So thinking about all of those things that you need, that you want to make your business or your personal life better, there are other people and other things you can rely on. And that's why the regionals are so strong, is that we do break those big things down, right? Like if you look at it as the industry as a whole, the whole industry itself wants to make sure that promotional products are the number one used piece to advertise and grow your culture and your business, right? Well, that's the strategic goal. Now, where's the tactical stuff, right? It's reaching out to regional associations and then suppliers and distributors and multi-line reps and marketing and service providers, and all of those pieces all have to tactically work together to get that large, lofty strategic goal of the whole promotional products industry accomplished. So it's kind of crazy. Like we sat there at the beginning of this and like, do you guys understand the difference between strategic and tactical? And all three of us, of course, because we've all been in leadership roles, knew it. But I hope that that's what you're getting from this podcast and listening to us today. Thomas, you got anything else you want to add?
Well, I mean, and like Ashley said earlier, I mean, with RMR, what we want to do is we want to make it a huge community, but also show the fun that we can have in our community, and being able to meet so many other people, whether it's like you guys have both said, whether it's factory reps, suppliers, people who work at a manufacturer, distributors, service providers. There's so many people you can meet in this community. And in the end, we want to make, all of our events and, our expos and stuff like that, fun things where you can come, educate yourself, learn, but also be able to meet other people. And I think in the end, but we also want to take, kind of like we did with the strategic planning and like the tactical, what can we do to continue to educate ourselves in this industry on a daily basis, and really it's being a part of a community and things like this and learning from other people.
I think two other points that I would add to this discussion for our listeners of this episode of The Climb, shameless plug, but two other points that I would make is sometimes strategic planning can feel really overwhelming, whether you're doing it for personal gain, professional gain, your own business, or part of a regional. It can feel really daunting and overwhelming. So I think when you talk about tactical planning within that and you break it down, it becomes much more manageable and achievable. So, if you start talking about doing something in the calendar year 2025, and let's say it's every other month, that might seem like a lot, but it ends up being 6 things a year. So, when you break it down and you start to talk to your peers or even lay it out for yourself on a calendar, sometimes breaking it down into that tactical metrics, as you said, Brandon, that can really make it seem like something that you can achieve. And I guess I would just say, the other thing is, if you are either a distributor or a rep out there and you're looking to grow your community for your business and just build relationships within the industry, for 2025, becoming a member of RMR may be one of your tactical steps to help you achieve your strategic goals.
Look at that. She's plugging the podcast. And if you want to climb to the top, you got to take small steps. And that first small step is joining RMR. I love it. Ashley, thank you so much for being our first guest. Like, this is kind of fun. Like, Thomas and I love talking to each other, and we like the sound of our own voice, but sometimes we get stuck in that infinite loop. And so I'm happy that you came on today. Did you like being a part of the climb today?
I think that everybody who has interacted with me or knows me very well knows that I do like to talk. So anytime you would honor me by having me back, I would be happy to discuss topics in our industry. It's been super fun. And of course, it's always great to see you guys, even virtually. I'm so looking forward to the holiday party. And yeah, thank you so much for having me on.
Well, we appreciate you being on. I mean, you're obviously like, you are very well known in this industry, and, in your accomplishments have, been amazing. And, we're thankful that we have you not only as a past board member, but also as our friend and colleague, in this industry. And I think, you made great points today, and having you on, and having your knowledge of this industry has, been huge. So thank you for being a part of this. And thank you for adding one more face to this, podcast, so other people can see somebody a heck of a lot cooler than me and Brandon every day. So
I don't know about cooler. Come on, guys. You're pretty cool.
Well, that is the Ashley Simpson on The Climb. That is episode 8. We will see you guys at the holiday party and in the next episode of The Climb.
Peace out.